All right, this video is going to be going over how to use the tool probe and the tool measuring probe on the newer VF2 that we have here at the Tech. This option is only available on this one machine, so you do have to do, if you happen to be on one of the other machines, you cannot obviously utilize the tool probe. So the first thing we need to do is bring up the programs that the tool probe and the measuring probe use. First thing you're going to do then to do this, and this is all documented on a setup sheet that's located behind the machine as far as probing a part and measuring a tool with the tool probe. So when you get to your machine, when you get to the machine and you're ready to do this, you definitely have that reference available to you. But we're going to go through it here on the video. So the first thing we want to do is hit Edit. And we're going to hit Program Conversational 3 times. Okay? The first time you turn on the machine, you're going to get this screen up here, Template Not Found. And it tells you to load different template, press F2. So after you hit the F2 key, you get this screen that has a list of programs. You can either use your arrow key or the wheel, and you're looking for program number 9996, and it says Haas VQC Wireless Probe English Increment. Once you have that up, you're going to hit right enter. So from here, these are all your probing options. We have a spindle probe 1 through 9, spindle probe 10 through 18, and your tool setting. Probe calibration is something you're not going to be getting into. If you feel like for some reason it needs calibrated, please come and see me. Then you have your help screen that does have some help options in it. So basically the first 2 options, spindle probe 1 through 9, spindle probe 10 through 8, are measuring the XY coordinates, X, Y, and Z coordinates of your part with the measuring probe. Right now we're going to start off with measuring our tools. So we're going to come down to tool settings. So you highlight that and you hit right enter. Okay? Basically you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different options on how to measure a tool. And it has highlighted which one is open. And this here kind of gives you a brief description of what it's going to do. That's going to be an auto length. That's going to be a manual length. Automatic length rotating. Automatic length and diameter. And so forth. Auto length only, sequential tools. You can do a number of tools, random tools. We're going to do, for this tool, it's an end mill, approximately a 5/8 end mill. That's a roughing end mill. So we're going to highlight that over there, and we're going to hit right enter. So now it's going to bring you a series of questions. What tool number is it? Well, you should know what tool it is because you have this in your program. In this case, we're going to use tool 18. So I'm going to punch in 18. You do not put the T in this case, you just put the tool number, right enter. Okay, now it's looking for an approximate length. It says tool length, and over here it gives you a description of what it's looking for. So it's looking for right above the collar of the tool holder, which would be the top of the spindle, the bottom of the spindle, down to how long that tool is. So you just take a 6-inch ruler and you come over here to your tool, put your ruler up there, and this looks like it's approximately 5.3 inches long. And it's just looking for an approximate number. So our tool is approximately 5.3 inches, so we're going to type in 5.3 and right enter. It's asking you for a tool diameter. I know that's a 5/8 end mill. It may be a little bit smaller than that, but it's just looking for an approximate number. 0.625. Right enter. Then from here it gives you a couple different options. Select create a program, add to current program, MDI, or cancel. Cancel would be, I'm doing something I don't want to do. You go into cancel, you arrow down, hit right enter, it'll get you out of it. Most of the time you're going to be doing it in MDI. Once in a while, maybe if you're doing a production part and you want to make sure you measure that tool every time you run a program, you could add it to a current program. For the most part though, we're going to do MDI, and that's how the setup sheet goes through. So we're going to close our doors. You have MDI highlighted, we're going to hit right enter. And then the MDI page comes up. Okay? And then we're just going to hit cycle start. It goes through a number of different sequences. The tool comes down above the part. and it actually turns in reverse, so none of the cutting edges actually catch on the tool probe. Comes down and measures the top of the part first. Comes down and measures the top of the bottom of the end mill. Now it's going to do the diameter. And you don't have to do this, but we're going to go into the offset page and kind of watch the numbers change. See, it already changed to 5.3779, and now it's working on the 625 diameter end mill. So it actually shows that this end mill actually measures at a 615. This is actually a more accurate way to measure an end mill versus using a micrometer, just for the sole purpose because it's actually measuring it as it's rotating it inside that tool holder. So if maybe for some reason that tool holder is out of center a little bit, this is what it actually should be cutting at. But let's say in our program this is a roughing end mill and I want to leave 20,000 stock for a finish cut. Or maybe I want to just make sure it's cutting the size. So here, 0.020, and I'm going to add that to my diameter. In the wear page, you can do it in the diameter, because remember, when in the program, when it looks up this number, it'll add these two numbers together. So in this case, it would say 0.6354. It would be the same way, doing it this way, it would 0.6354. So when a machine in your program, when it calls up this number, it's going to look for that length and that diameter. So that's our end mills measure now, and we want to measure a drill. Okay, so what we're going to do, you don't even have to call up the drill. We're going to go back into our parameters or our screen with all the programs. We're going to hit Edit, Program Conversation 3 times. I'm going to go back to Tool Settings. I'm going to hit right Enter. Now, with a drill, the only thing I'm concerned about is my length. So I'm going to do an auto length only. So we're going to hit right Enter. It's asking you what tool number. It's in tool number 19. Even though tool 18 is in the spindle, that drill is in tool 19. Okay? This is an auto length drill, so you do not have to tell it approximate length. So we're going to close our doors. Once again, we're going to use MDI. Okay, now if you notice, it erased the other program that was in the MDI and replaced it with this. And if you notice in your program, it actually has a tool change in it. Goes and finds the proper tool that it needs. It knows where that tool, that measuring probe is on the table, and it comes down right on top of it. And if you go into your offset page, once again, you don't have to go here. Puts a value in there. Okay? Diameter doesn't mean nothing on a drill, so we don't have to put anything in there. If you want, that's a 1/2 inch drill. I can put a 1/2 inch value in there just for my purposes only. So that's how you measure all your tools. And there are a number of different options. I didn't go through all of them. But they do self-explanatory. If you're using a face mill, which you have to do that. You're going to press right Enter. And what you're going to do with that face mill is you're going to bring that tool over when it's in the spindle. So one of the cutting edges is right over the top of that tool probe. And then you go through the sequence and it'll just come down that little bit, and you can only do that one tool at a time with the face mill.